So Denny, do I need suppressor height sights? What are night sights and how the heck do they work? Why do competition shooters choose fiber optics in their iron sights?
You sure ask a lot of questions, Jason.
A lot of questions.
We're going to answer those questions and more in this first segment of our video series, Sights and Optics 101.
So Danny, we've had the opportunity to shoot a lot of good gun content here this year already, and we've got a lot of engagement from our followers. And most of that engagement, a lot of questions are regarding our different optics and sights that we're running on our guns.
So based on, those comments and questions, we're doing this series of Sights and Optics, and today we're specifically going to talk about fixed sights.
So basic or fixed sights are generally simple. They don't require batteries or other power sources. They're always there and ready to be used. When we think of basic sights, we often use the term fixed or iron sights, although that can be confusing in itself because fixed sights are sometimes adjustable. So let's break it down to front and rear sights and some different types.
Right, we're going to talk about front sights first. There are a lot of different styles of front sights. You got the plain Jane front sight. Sometimes in the old style pistols are even milled into the slide, right? So they can be very plain and simple. They can be white dot sights. They can be tritium dots. By the way, those are night sights. And night sights are very interesting. They're powered by these little radioactive capsules. Radioactive of tritium gas, right? So you don't, that naturally glows in the dark, right? That's how they work. You don't have to be worried about radioactive poisoning. Not a problem there, but that's how night sights work. A lot of people wonder about that. Then you have things like fiber optic sights, which are very interesting. Fiber optic sights are usually red or green. Here's an example of both red and green fiber optic front sights. We actually have fiber optic rear sights on this one as well. Fiber optic sights are very simple. They look like electronic sights, but they're not. They just naturally gather that light, and it's nice and bright, and it's very eye-catching, right? So it's, I love fiber optic sights.
I know you and I use those both on our competition guns.
That's right. Love fiber optics. I actually even have a gun that is a hybrid of tritium and fiber optic. Got fiber optic on the rear, fiber optic on the front, little tritium ring around it. So I've got the best of both worlds. So as you can see, there are a lot of different front sights that you can have. You can even have post front sights like we see on our AKs and on our ARs as well. And sometimes even those can be adjustable as well.
So there are also a lot of varying widths and heights to choose from. For instance, suppressor height sights with pistols come in handy when obviously running a can or co-witnessing with an electronic sight, kind of like what I do. I use mine for co-witness all the time.
That's right. Here are suppressor height sights, for instance, on this, and this is a MOS style optics ready type gun. So the idea is when the optic's on there that you can co-witness right through it with these suppressor height sights, right?
Narrow front sights are best for slow fire bullseye shooting.
That's right. So keep in mind that when you have front and rear sights that aren't calibrated or matched up, it is going to affect your accuracy, right? So for every 1/100th of an inch difference from the front and rear sight, you may have up to a 1 inch different impact with your round at 25 yards, right?
That's a lot of good info.
Get your calculator
right.
out. So it does make a difference, right? You want to make sure that your front and rear sights are calibrated or actually matched and are supposed to go together. Otherwise, you might have a little problem with accuracy.
Right. So the front sight should have the features you need for that firearm platform to have the most eye-catching feature that works best for you in the environment that you'll be shooting in.
Right, so the rear sights, right? We got to talk about those as well. Rear sights are just as many, if not more different types of rear sights. You got plain Jane rear sights, like on this, we're going to pick on this 1911A1 again. Very plain, right? Very small, very simple to use. You have white dot, white bar, you have fiber optic rear sights as well sometimes, as in the case of this 22 competition pistol that I like to shoot. You also have aperture rear sights like we see on some of our ARs, and often those can be changed. You have a big hole to look through and a small one to look through, an aperture to look through.
Small ones for more precise shooting.
That's right. The standard aperture width of a rear sight is 0.125 of an inch, right? So then you have the medium notches, which are 0.145 of an inch wide, a little bit wider, we call those medium. And then you have the really wide notches, which are 0.170, and those are really nice and wide, so you can pick up your front sight a lot faster. And then of course you have your ghost ring notches we talked about, the ghost rings, the circles that you look through, and those can be different sizes as well.
Makes a lot of sense. So there are also U notches and V notches, as well as taller rear sights used with suppressors or co-witnessing with a red dot again. So rear sights can also be horizontally serrated. Now Denny, I have seen the serrations on pistols all my life. I've actually owned a few, and I didn't actually know what these were for. And they're actually to diffuse the light from obstructing your vision.
That's right, I got an example right here, and you can see those serrations in that rear sight. Imagine
Right.
if that was shiny and plain, and you're out the range in the middle of a sunshiny day here down
Right.
in Florida.
No kidding.
And Sunshine State, right? And that light bounces off your rear sight into your eye. It can not only obscure your vision, but it can even be temporarily blinded depending on how bright that light is.
So the main thing to remember when matching up your front sight and your rear sight is that the rear sight shouldn't overwhelm the front sight. Most of your focus should be on that front sight. Most handguns have the capability of swapping out the front and rear sights with special tools. I know there's a lot of tinkerers out there, I'm one myself, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's best left to a gunsmith with the proper tools.
That's right, always best to let the gunsmith do that. Let's talk about what our sight picture should look like. So we're talking about fixed sights. So we have the post on the front and we have the notch on the rear. So your focus should be on your front post. Your front post should be on the same level as your rear post. Shouldn't be higher or lower. It should be even and level with that. Your focus is on the front sight. You still be able to see your target in the distance, but you should put your target right on front of the front sight. It's called lollipopping. That's kind of the old style term before you take your shot. Now when you're looking through aperture sights, instead of a notch on the rear, you have a hole you're looking through. You put that front post right in the middle, and that's what your sight picture should look like with those style sights as well.
So if you want a quick target acquisition, a wider rear notch or aperture will help you pick up the sights a lot quicker. On the other hand, if you're going for extreme accuracy, a small notch or aperture will help to tighten up your target and shoot more precisely.
That's right. Got your calculator out? Because
Oh, no,
I'm
you
going
wanna
to talk
drop
about
some
some
more
numbers
knowledge?
again.
Go
Keep in
for it.
mind that if your rear sight is adjustable for windage, right? For instance, like in this this pistol, this is my 40 caliber limited USPSA pistol, and it is adjustable for elevation and windage. So for every 100th of an inch movement back and forth, left and right in windage, that's going to translate in about an inch of impact movement with most standard pistol ammo at 25 yards. So it does make a difference.
So there's a lot of information to cover here, and we've just scratched the surface, guys. So in our next video, we're going to talk about red dots and holographic sights. Until then, hit those like and subscribe buttons, shoot straight, and stay safe.
Thanks for watching.